What's going on, everyone? I don't even know. I'm just going to start the live, just sent it over to Landon. I wanted to come on here and talk about Tua Retire, the Miami Dolphins quarterback, and he has suffered another head injury. It's rough. It's really rough. The head injury that he suffered was his fourth major concussion and his fifth head injury in the last, I think 3 years. It's a tough situation because you have coaches like Antonio Pierce saying he should retire and that football is for a little bit and your life is for a long time. And obviously the man's health is first. But when you actually take it into consideration, he's a competitor. He's going to want to come out. He's going to want to play. He's going to want to be a part of the Miami Dolphins organization. He's not just going to want to retire. But in the video that we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about the implications that if he does retire, what's going to happen. Also, we're going to talk about the situation that is going on with us having to pay him his entire contract of guaranteed money, which isn't really the deal. Can you flip your camera? That's better. Yeah, so that's mainly what we're going to talk about today. Actually, we could just do this. There, this is better for today's video anyways. Landon, what were your immediate thoughts of the concussion?
Oh, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
That's like his fourth or fifth concussion. It's not.
Yeah. It's his fourth concussion, and it's his fifth head injury. Because I believe they said that the one where he came back was it was actually a neck injury. That's what they said. But I mean, it goes hand in hand. It was a scary sight to see, especially as a Miami Dolphins fan, where you see your quarterback down on the ground and he's clenching his hands again. And it isn't the first time that you've seen it. That was a little freaky. I didn't like to see that. Obviously, in the video we're going to be posting later this week, you're going to see my live reaction to it. And I was hyped. He just got the first down. And then I see him go down. And then I was very scared, to say the least. But, yeah, so that's what's going to happen. If he does get forced to retire by the NFL, the Miami Dolphins have to pay him $140 million up front. They have to pay him $140 million up front, which is not ideal, I could tell you that. That is not ideal. And the one good part that we do have about this situation is that he's allowed to play from the NFLPA, but which he's not going to do this, I don't think. If he decides that he's going to retire on his own, we don't have to pay him anything. The problem with that is, what are we going to do for the rest of the season? I think, obviously, his health comes first, but if we do end up doing that, I think we play Skylar Thompson, see if we have anything at all with that guy. And obviously, if we don't, we're going to tank and draft a guy. I think our main options would be Shedeur Sanders, Quinn Ewers. I would love to keep in Miami. Cam Ward, that's my guy. Would love to have him. Dude, imagine Cam Ward in the Miami Dolphins offense. That's insane. But obviously, we're going very ahead of what's actually going to happen. Realistically, I think he comes back at the bye week, and I think he comes back to being elite as he is. He's a top 10 quarterback in the league, and he plays to a top 5 level a lot of the time. Just yesterday wasn't his day. 3 picks. One of them was definitely his fault. The other 2, the receiver slipped, and it was right off Tyreek's hands. So there's nothing you can really do about that. It just wasn't a great day. Turf was slippery, though. So I know this video is about Tua, but now we can go a little transition into the game yesterday. What are your thoughts on the game?
It was a pretty good game for the Bills. I mean, the defense played really, really good. It wasn't a bunch of passing. I think Josh only threw like 18 passes, but the run game looked good, and the it was just an all-around good game.
Yeah, when it comes to the Miami Dolphins side of things, realistically, I think it was a good game until it wasn't. We started off with an interception, and that was not a great way to start the game. When I saw that in the back of my mind, I knew that we were not going to win the game. You can't start off the game, especially against a division rival, with this high of a stake on Thursday Night Football with an interception. Obviously, they scored a touchdown with James Cook, and we ended up responding that same drive. And even though he was down, Achane did fumble, which would have been a very, very costly mistake. We ended up scoring. It was a 7-7 game, and then it was another pick. And after that pick, they got a field goal, and then it was all downhill from there. After that, when it was 10-7, that's where we just started playing really bad. Realistically, I want to know why Mike McDaniel is calling so many screens. Our offense has never been relied on screens and rockets and lasers and a bunch of jet passes. Like, we've never done that. And that's what people always said that to me. They're like, oh, yeah, just give Tyreek a jet pass, give Waddle a jet pass. And that's what their main criticism was of our offense. And we actually wouldn't do that. And now we're going – it's almost like we're reverting back to something that hasn't even happened yet, where now we're just – our offense is relied on a bunch of jet passes and screens. I don't like that. I know Mike McDaniel does like to change up his scheme that he likes to do. Like, it's always the same offense, but he changes it every year. I don't think this is a good change at all. Looking forward, I think we just need to get past this game. Without Tua at the helm, it's going to be a uphill battle to win these couple games. We have at Seattle, which is a very hard game. You're going all the way from the bottom right to the top left of the country. That's a very hard game to win on the road. After that, we have Tennessee, and then at New England. So obviously at New England, Tua's never lost to them, but is he even going to be playing? That's the question. I mean, realistically, he probably won't be, because the week after, that's the bye week, and we can give him another week. It's not ideal for our situation, but hopefully, instead of starting off hot like we always do, maybe we lose. Say we lose these 3 games. Say we lose the next 3 games: the Seattle game, the Tennessee game, the Patriots game. That's only 3 losses, or that's 4 losses, and I mean that's not hard to come really back from. 1-4 is not that hard, I guess, to get into the playoffs. The one thing that I think is going to be circled on our schedule is that Buffalo game, because if we could win that game, which is going to be very hard to do in Buffalo, if Tua is even playing by then, which he should be, it's going to be a very hard game. Say we lose that game, now we're 5 wins, and we have to win out. We also have to face the Jets twice. Say we lose those games for some odd reason. I'm just saying that's 7 losses, and then 10-7, you're not getting into the playoffs in the AFC. So it's going to be a fun season to watch. Fantasy-wise, I had Allen and Hill, and they both did terrible. So just a bad day yesterday. Just a bad day. I guess we could just go through three positives and 3 negatives from the team. So what are your 3 positives and 3 negatives from yesterday?
For the Bills?
Yeah.
I don't have any negatives. It was a pretty all-around good game.
You don't have any negatives?
I mean, not really. That's almost – I mean, other than tackling, but they still did good at tackling. I don't really have that much negatives for the team. They were good.
If that's what you're saying, that's what you're saying.
It was a really good game.
3 positives, I'd say our run game and Devon Achane. I'm going to mix those together because Devon Achane rammed the Bills. Other than him, we had nothing. Achane ended up going for 100 rushing yards, 70 receiving yards, and he very well could go for 2,000 yards all-purpose if he could stay healthy. He had 100 yards in week 1, and then he had almost 200 last night. The exciting part about that is that we have such an animal at running back now that we'll have for so long that we're never going to have to worry about having a running back as long as he's healthy. That's really exciting. He is like what Breece Hall was supposed to be, and we'll end up seeing what Breece Hall ends up doing for the rest of the year. But he did not look very good in week 1. I do think the Jets ran the ball a little too much. But realistically, I think Devon Achane right now, as of now, I think he's the best running back in the division, which is really exciting. Breece Hall, very close too. James Cook had a great game.
I have a negative now. I thought about it.
All right.
Health.
Health? Yeah.
Gotta stay healthy. That's
Yeah.
the main. I mean, we lost Terrell Bernard, and it could be bad. So we just gotta stay healthy.
Another positive, I think, is our defense. I think our defense played really good. We stopped Allen to under 200 yards. We held them to only, well, I'll say our passing defense, because our rushing defense was very ass. Our passing defense ended up holding Allen to under 200 yards and a touchdown. That is 2 straight games that the quarterback we faced, who is considered a top 10 quarterback, and Allen considered the second best quarterback in the league, both under 200 yards. Well, that's a very promising fact. I think realistically, if we can continue this trend, we will be one of the top offenses in the league. But then you look on the run game, you could put a negative in here. I think James Cook went for almost 100 yards, and he had 2 touchdowns on the ground. So that is not ideal. That is something we can't do. We had a decent time stopping Travis Etienne. Travis Etienne does seal the game if Javon Holland doesn't punch that out. Another positive, I'd say Javon Holland, just the way that he was playing. Javon Holland was an absolute animal. A negative, I don't know. I guess a negative is going to be Tua Tagovailoa's health. Now that Tua is out, we are in desperate measures here. I don't really know what even to do. This is not good, but it's all right. And I mean, there's nothing really else I could talk about. I just want to come on here, 15 minutes, talk about should Tua retire. I don't think he should. I don't think he will. I think if it's bad, if the concussion ends up being bad, which from what I'm hearing is it's not a bad concussion, which all concussions are bad, but this is not a severe concussion like what he's had previously. The one thing that does scare me is his automatic response that he had, where his hand was twitching, which that's scary. I mean, since the Bengals game, that didn't even happen. His last concussion against the Packers. So that happening freaked me out a little bit. But realistically, as long as we're healthy, I think the Dolphins can beat anyone. It's just a problem with health, and hopefully Tua can be okay. So you got anything else?
I don't know. I don't think he's going to retire, but he probably should. I mean, 5 head injuries, dude.
Like, yeah, I really don't think he will.
I don't think he will either, but, 5 head injuries, that's bad.
That he's
really bad.
He's towards the same level of Luke Kuechly and Andrew Luck. I think Tua will have a similar career as Andrew Luck, where it's gonna. I just hope it doesn't end like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Just be on the lookout for the newest video that we're gonna be doing. It's gonna be a Dolphins fan along the lines of this. I haven't really made the title. A Dolphins fan rage quits or freaks out over the Bills Dolphins.
Crashes out.
It probably will be something like that. Yeah. I mean, when Julian Hill dropped 3 touchdowns, I mean, even now I could punch a freaking hole in my wall.
2.
No, the last drive too. The last drive he could have had one. I mean, he's just so.
No, he only dropped 2 touchdowns.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter this morning.
I don't know. Either way, he's terrible. We need to cut him. But also, he's an NFL player, so I don't know. I can't handle that. Thank God Dan Mitchell's coming on in 5 days, because I need time to like calculate. I can't even think straight after the mockery that I've seen, and with Tua's injury, this is terrible. But anyways, I'm Richard Donahue, and I'm here with
Lennox Zuzak.
and we are signing out. Goodbye.